Hola Jessica, ¿cómo estás?
Bien, ¿cómo estás? Thank you for having me here today.
Yes,
Or on.
I am so excited. Okay, so before we even start, Jessica, can you please let people know where to find you?
You can find me at the website, which is www.cafe con leche plan her. And all my social media is también at Cafe con Leche Plan Her. So I kind of made it simple and easy for everybody.
Yes, and if you guys are for some reason misspelling it or whatever, if you're watching us on Spotify or YouTube, it's going to be here on the screen. If you guys are listening to us anywhere, whatever platform you're on, it's going to be on the description box. Okay. So before you guys even go into that, go and follow Jessica. I am obsessed, Jessica. I'm obsessed.
Thank you. Thank you.
I found you on TikTok. That's where I mostly discover all of my guests. TikTok is amazing. I love it.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Because the algorithm is algorithming and always brings me across some amazing brands. And I just want to show this real quick. Hold on. You guys, look at what I got. I am so excited. Okay, so before I even get into it, this is Spanglish stationery stuff. Jessica,
Yes.
you did this for me. I am convinced.
Yes, girl, I did. Para nosotras, I did. It was something que it was like it's about time. Y siempre que yo iba a la tienda and look for, I always would like, okay, let's see what they have in Spanish. I'm like, either none or very basic. And I was like, nah. So, I wanted somebody else to do it because I was like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if somebody went ahead and did this? It could be Spanglish and this. Yo went, I was, putting it out there and I was like, da, 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 da. And then I was like, maybe I could do that. Maybe I can. Let's see.
You're like, why not? Let me try.
Yeah.
And here we are. Okay, so I have to admit, there's so many things, good things that you were able to send me, and I'm so appreciative. Nobody has ever done that for me, but I want to be 100% transparent with my audience and say, you guys know that I always siempre estoy apoyando a la gente que entrevisto. I am going back into her website this morning, and I did a couple shopping. I'm just waiting for payday. Pero one of my favorite things that you sent me was this one. It's called Your Warm Bread para tu cafecito.
The spiritual one, yes.
Yes. Oh my God. Girl. So I never say what religion I am, but I am somebody that's spiritual. I do, do my textos bíblicos every day, texto diario. This is going to help me so much in the morning to really let out all my thoughts because basically I've been doing it in little like Post-it notes.
Aww.
So I'm like, yes. Oh my God, this is amazing.
Yes. And if you see, like I did both in English and Spanish because because my target audience is a Spanish speaking bilingual, I wanted to make sure that because I was going to do the Bible verses in Spanglish, but I was like, nah, it's going to lose the whole meaning. So let me just do it in English and in Spanish.
Yes, I like that. Because I did see that. Pero alguien que mi primer idioma es español. So I'm like, yes, girl, I need it in Spanish.
You're so welcome.
And then the affirmation cards. Oh my God, you guys. Okay. So I actually, and I don't know if this is how you intend us to use it, but I am using it this way. And I started this morning, actually. I'm looking at the card every morning. I'm reflecting on it. I'm meditating it. And then I'm using my notebook to write in and like really just let out my morning thoughts. That's how I'm using it. And I'm like,
that is perfect.
Yes.
That is perfect. The way that you're using it. So when I created the cards, I was going through and I was like, wait a minute. I was like, Latinas, we really don't do like affirmation.
No.
We do more like, encomio or, remembering something that mommy used to say or titi, things like that. And so I was going back and forth and I put it in a little group, and in the group son todas americanas. And then I said, hey, this is what I want to do. And they're like, oh, you should, break it up like spiritual, like work, life, kids. I was like, nah, we ain't got time for that. I was like, Latinas, we get up and we go, whatever, what I'm saying? It's just like, we don't separate it like that.
No.
And I was remembering things que mami decía, and I was like, you know what, this is going to be good. And, make it in English and Spanish or Spanglish. And by far is my favorite. Y tengo cuatro cajas and each one. So it's 52 decks on 52 cards, and cada deck is different.
Oh.
So if you get all four, you have like, what's that? 52 times 50, that's like over 200?
Yeah. Over 200 cards. Okay, so yes, these and I love that they're in Spanglish, because it's like you're almost reading into my head, girl.
Yes.
Like I love this one, just to show you guys just one. No basta con empezar, you have to keep going. And I'm like, okay, what do I need to keep going on? And I'm like putting my ideas into paper, something that my therapist really recommended me to do. And I'm like, this notebook that you have. And I want to point something out. When I go through your website, I love your color scheme that you're using. I love that you are not just saying that all Latinas look one way. Tenemos Latinas que son Afro-Latinas that are gorgeous. Oh my God, they're gorgeous. And then we have the güeritas, and they're gorgeous, and then we have everything in between. And that is one thing that I really appreciate from your website, from your products, is you representing all of us, not putting us in one little corner and saying this is what it is.
Exactly.
When I saw the affirmations thing, I'm like, oh my God, that is such a Latina with her hoops, and her long hair. But we don't all look like that. And your products are a representation of the diversity that we have in our community. So before we continue, girl, because I could be here all day gaslighting and saying how amazing your stuff is, because it truly is.
Thank you.
I want to learn more about you. I want to know, where were you born?
Okay, so I was born in New York, and de padre puertorriqueño. So my mouth is dry. So
Mira. I always have my water porque hablo mucho.
Right? And that's unnatural. We already talked too much. So I was born in New York. My parents Puerto Rican. Y cuando yo estaba haciendo todo esto, I was remembering in New York, like literally what I remember is either going to Titi's house or our house. And like my whole family was just different. Like everybody was different. And I just remember smelling food, hearing music, people laughing.
Yes.
I was like, we're just like happy people. And then, so we lived there. My dad brought out our family to Vegas in like in the 80s, 85 or something. As a matter of fact, I was just talking to my cousin about this today. When we moved here, girl, when I tell you I hated it, like I hated it. Porque nobody knew what Puerto Ricans were.
Okay, so where did you guys move to?
To Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh my God. I didn't even know there was Puerto Ricans there. Who wants to live as a Puerto Rican? I'd be mad if you dropped me off in Las Vegas. What?
Yes. It was, I remember like telling mommy, I'm turning 18 and I'm leaving. I hate it here. Like I really hated it here because to me, not that I felt out of place, but I had to explain what Puerto Ricans, who we are, going to school, it was like, oh, you speak Mexican. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I speak Spanish, and it was just like really, girl, every day I come home from school, be like, this is like the worst. Like, I hate it. It was, so las Mexicanas were like, they were nice to me because they spoke Spanish, pero they didn't know like
your culture.
They didn't understand exactly.
Yeah.
Then the black girl, they hated me because I was light skinned, I spoke Spanish, and I had good hair. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I just
you're like, I have African in me. What are you talking about, girl?
I was like, it was like, y'all confused. Like, I already know who I am, like, you know. And then white girls, well, you know, they were just like, también, like, well, but you speak Spanish, so are you white? Oh my God, it was all through elementary and junior high. And I remember, so for picture day, mami nos hacía los rolos and girls, all cute and everything. And I remember a girl stopped me and she's like, do you have tracks in your hair? This is what came to mind. I was like, train tracks? Like, what are you talking about? I was like, no. And she's like, well, let me see your hair. I was like, don't touch my hair. I was like, this is my hair, you know? For the longest time, I did not understand what she meant, meaning like, you know, I have experience.
Yes.
You know, coming from New York, we didn't deal with that. I didn't know anything about it. So that, and then, that was like the biggest memory. And then when I would do Krolos, my hair, you know, like kind of like this, but, you know, longer, everybody wanted to touch my hair. I didn't understand. I was like, don't you have hair? Like, touch your own hair. You know, y me miraban like like, just like I was just like abnormal for them. They did not understand who I was, you know, why I looked the way I looked, but I spoke Spanish. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, oh, you know, you speak Mexican, of course. And I was like, no, I speak Spanish.
The ignorance. The ignorance.
And then they try to. And then I was like, look, I could read it, write it, and speak it. You know, I was like, well, what do you speak at home? I was like, well, both. Well, how do you speak both? I was like, oh my God, this is like way too much. So, and you know, high school was like very, I wouldn't say traumatic. It was just like, I didn't know what was going on. You know, I didn't know what was going on. And all I remember, you know, I would go home and tell mommy and papi what was going on. And, you know, papi would be like, no, you just tell them this. Oh, and then a green card. They're like, you need a green card. And I was like, I have a library card. What's a green card? And then they would talk like alien, and I was like, because and I'll go home, papi, what's alien? What's the green card? Like, do we need that? And they're like, and you know, my dad was he had no problem explaining like Puerto Rico and everything about it. So I was like, okay, so that's how it was, you know, going to school. And then like when I got to high school, it was more of, you know, my body was changing and whatnot. So I had the guys look at me, but they would look at me more like, oh, you're exotic. Like, you're exotic. And I was just like, oh my God, like, I'm just me. You know, like, I don't understand this. So that's how it was in high school. Like, it, you know, wow. A lot of girls did not like me, and I did not understand why. I was like, myself, but yeah, a lot of girls just did not like me.
You know, it's funny that you're saying that because I've had many conversations, right, with a lot of people on my show, and we always come to the conclusion growing up, whether, you know, we grew up in the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s, is it because we lacked social media, that we lacked understanding of other races?
You know what? I don't know. You know what? I think it's more because parents didn't know and didn't teach their children. Yes. So coming from New York, like I saw all los Dominicanos, the Cubans, you know, I seen it, everything. So I was familiar with it. Like I knew, you know, when they say, Cubana, I was like, well, thank you, but no, I'm Puerto Rican, or it is Dominican, you know, like yes. I understood that. And when we came here, it was just, everything was like either black, white, or Mexican. And I'm like, and because there was nothing, like the radio stations, girl, they played just banda. There was like, we would go, there was like a little market here. And for the longest time, they didn't have no Goya products. So it was, you know, they didn't know, like Vegas didn't know. It was very, 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 very few Puerto Ricans.
You weren't so far, because growing up, I was raised around a lot of Puerto Ricans, and girl, I got schooled very early.
We're quick to tell you.
Yes, very quick. And I mean, I love Caribbean people. Like los dominicanos, los cubanos, los puertorriqueños. God, you guys bring sazon into the Latino. Like, when I say that you guys are just, and you know, I was privileged to go to Puerto Rico 2 years ago, I think.
Right before the pandemic?
I'm sorry? No,
right before the pandemic?
After.
Oh, okay.
After the pandemic. So I think it was like 2021 or 2022. No me acuerdo muy bien.
Okay.
But we went and I'm like, well, no wonder they're amazing people. Like, it's all green. It's beautiful. Las playas son tan vírgenes here. Like, it's such a beautiful culture that's like fully immersed. And so growing up, I'm like, man, those Mexicans are really, and then it was like, no, we're not Mexican, we're Puerto Rican.
Oh yeah, and with the finger too. Yes.
No. Yes. Let's take out your map, girl. We're to the right of Mexico.
Yes.
And so, you know, growing up, you know, I remember this one lady. She was older than me, but I met her through church. Her name was Enidia. Never forget Enidia, because Enidia was like bigger than life. You know, she gave us the biggest hugs, and she was like a titi to me. Uh-huh. And she cooked the most amazing mofongo, the plantains, girl. I know, de todo. And so, you know, I'm like, why did we lack so much growing up? Because I feel like we missed out on getting to know so many great cultures, you know?
Yes.
I grew up with Samoans. I really don't know their...
Oh my God, girl. Ooh, their food too.
Yeah. But I didn't grow up with them. I knew them, and, you know, we were homies, because parecían Mexicanos, you know, with 1,000 kids. It's like, okay. But they weren't Mexicanos. They were Samoan. But, you know, really generous people, también bien family oriented and stuff like that. And I'm like, God, I love getting out there and just meeting different cultures, but why didn't we get to experience that? And I also feel like it's part of America. Well, at least the United States, right? The United States, I feel like we don't have that richness in history. We lack so much history.
Yes. It's yes, it does. And, you know, so next week I'll be married 25 years. When I met my husband.
Oh my God, congratulations, girl.
Thank you.
Wow. That's a long time.
It is. And it is. And when we met, he didn't know, he worked with my father at one of the utility companies. So cuando íbamos a ver a papi, you know, he would see us and whatnot. So he knew of my father, and my father was Puerto Rican. But he had never met nobody who was Puerto Rican. And he was just like amazed. And, you know, one of the first things that I had to explain to him is que mami, papi, like, negrito is not a bad word for us, you know? And my mom called him, ay, negrito. He was like, did your mom just call me N-word? I was like, baby, no. I mean, well, yes, you know, black, because it's negrito, but it's kind of like blaquito, like not really, like, girl, I had to go into, and it took him some time to get used to hearing that, you know? And I was like, baby, it's a term of endearment. Like, they, you know, that's like cariño. That's, you know, that's love. That's love. And, you know.
What race is your husband?
He's black.
Ah, okay. That's why.
Yes. So not only was, you know, the word, but being so family oriented, because his family is not, it was another shock. So I remember times when my family come home, he's like, why is your sister over? I'm like, what do you mean? Like I didn't get it. Like they would be over all the time. Like we had we don't got no boundaries.
Girl, no.
Like, no boundaries. So llegaban y me decía, why don't they call before they come? I was like, well, what do you mean? They're just going to come. Like, I couldn't wrap my head around that. It wasn't like, that was not, the normal was like, hey, ya llegamos. Like, hey, what's up? What we're going to do? You know what I'm saying?
They don't even knock.
Yeah. It was just like family all the time. So for me, that was normal. And for him, it wasn't. And I was like, well, but family, like, that's what we do, you know? So it did take some, I would say, like, compromise between us, you know? I was like, hey, y'all got to call before you come. No pueden, you can't just pop up, you know?
Me lo están asustando.
And then forget about it. And then when we started having kids, it was like, Mom, you know, you cannot come by now and pick up the kids. You know, we got boundaries now. We got boundaries. But, you know, we learned, you know, and we made it for 25 years.
Girl, let me just, I have to give you a round of applause, girl. I just celebrated 16 years with my husband 2 weeks ago.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. And I'm like, God, it feels like a lifetime. Yeah. Pero it's a beautiful accomplishment to be able to say that. So congratulations to you and him. How many kids do you guys have?
So we have 4. I have, so este año cumple 25, 24, 22, and 21.
Oh, girl, you're done.
I'm done.
My God, praise you.
I am done. Yes.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I love it. Now, do you still have family in Puerto Rico?
Yes. I have family in Florida, Puerto Rico, and New York is the majority of the family. And I was telling my husband, so we went to Puerto Rico back in 2019 or 18? No, 2018. The whole family went and we took a cruise out of Puerto Rico. And just being there, I was just like, gosh, you know, like, it's got me in my feelings. I was like, gosh, you know, I just want to stay here. Like, I love it. Like, this is where I need to be. And, you know, while we were in Vegas, you know, we get used to the American culture, you know, like cocinando. Like, when we first got married, I was cooking Puerto Rican food. And then little by little, not realizing, I stopped cooking it, you know? And I was like, gosh, I haven't done that. And, you know, and then también hablando. And then just certain phrases, just things that you forget. Like, we grew up hearing them and talking about it. And something that I wanted to give my kids, pero you just forget about it. And I was just like, wow. And I do want to go back to Puerto Rico. You know, talk to my husband about retiring to Puerto Rico because I mean, I'm a beach girl. I love the island. Like,
that's why I said, like, if I was you, I'd be pissed that they left me in Vegas. What? In the desert, in the middle of nowhere, coming from such, like, you come from paradise, literally.
Yes.
Oh my God.
It was, you know,
nostalgic.
Yeah. Yes. And
¿Qué parte de Puerto Rico?
So my parents, I believe it's Ponce and Rio Piedras, but I was born in New York.
Okay.
So my parents born in Puerto Rico, and then, like at their 18, 19 or something like that, they moved to New York, and they met in New York.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
And then we moved here. But, you know, to me, like we visited, I remember going and being younger and visiting Puerto Rico. To me, it was just like the coolest thing. Like, wow, you know, I don't know. I just always felt like different, but I was like, I'm Puerto Rican. Like, not everybody can say that.
No, we cannot. I'm jealous. Y yo que soy mexicana, you know? But I love the island. And I feel like, you know, I think it was a couple weeks ago, the news broke with that man that was trying to get a rental.
Yes.
Girl, vergüenza ajena. Like,
oh my goodness.
And the fact that the cop, like, tampoco, todo en...
Yes.
Like, oh my God. I was like, what the hell? Like, you guys do understand that they were invaded and now they're part of us without them wanting to be a part of us, but they are U.S. citizens.
Yes. I told my husband, I was so dumbfounded. I was like, first of all, can't you just Google it? Like, that would have been the first thing I would have done. If I'm not sure, hey, let me just Google it. But también, like, the extremes that it got to, you have got to be kidding me. Like, that is embarrassment for the rental car company.
Yes.
And, you know, even the way the employee, like, that's another thing. Customer service, I think now is just like out the window, but there's a way for you to speak to people, and there's a way to interact, and, you know, just out of respect, it could have been handled so much better.
Very differently. But I think that only shows and proves my point that the United States, we lack so much in our education, because yo que no, you know, I can't say I'm a professional working customer service, right? Well, I worked in healthcare, but that's a whole other different podcast, girl. But I would never sit there and argue with somebody when they're telling me the facts. Like you said, go and check Google. Talk to a supervisor, talk to somebody else. Hey, do you know anything about this? I don't have an idea. But to me, it blew my mind that she did not know that he had rights and that he was a U.S. citizen. Yes. I'm like, después de todo lo que ha pasado, la gente puertorriqueña, how we stole their land, because it's stolen land, girl. Yes. And it angers me, just like it angers me that, you know, Mexicans, we can't have and enjoy Mexico. My parents couldn't stay there because of the corruption. Yeah. Like, most of us come from amazing and beautiful places, and I wish I was in Mexico. Yeah. I truthfully do. I love Mexico. And, you know, and me and my husband think about retiring there, because I'm like, I want to enjoy what my parents weren't able to enjoy. Right. And it's sad that they were ran out of these places for whatever circumstance, right? Always looking for the better things in life for us. But yeah.
Look at Cuba también. Like, Cuba really has the most, I've read, it has the most beautiful beaches. And, you know, I like, again, it's one of those things that's just like, wow, like, the islands are for the people. Yes. You know, and to be able to be enjoyed and to just take in the beauty, to take in the beauty, you know, and it's like respiro, like, okay, this is paradise. And, you know, all the problems, you know, like, all the islands are having, it's just like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Yes. It is.
Yes.
Yeah. I was going to mention when you brought up the guy with the rental. So do you know the drinks, Maita, the little drinks, the Maita, it's Maita drinks. It's not alcohol. It's, what's the word?
Sparkling? Like sparkling?
No, it's not sparkling. It's like really dark brown, and it's Maita drinks, and they sell it like almost, it does look like beer the way they bottle it, right?
I'm looking it up. So then I can show people too.
It's Malta. Maita drinks.
Oh, my. Drinks. Hold on. Oh, yes. Okay. Yes, I've seen these. Yes.
So you see, they are bottled like beer. So one of our supermarkets, I was so excited that they finally had brought Goya products. This was, you know, back when I was like maybe 16, 17. Okay. And one of the supermarkets had that. I was so excited. I went and I grabbed it. And I remember the lady, she's like, you can't buy that. And I was like, why? She's like, you can't, you know, you're not 21. You can't buy beer. I grabbed the bottle and I flipped it over. It's a malt beverage. That's what it is. I flipped it over and I showed it to her. I was like, this is not alcohol. I can buy this. Oh, she looked at me like she wanted to kill me with her eyes. But I was like, no, don't tell me, you know. And it was one of those things, like, before you even attack me, you didn't even look at the product. You know what I mean? Like, it looked like beer. So, you can't buy that. You're not 21. And no.
Let me school you real quick.
Yes, and we flip the bottle and it says malt beverage. It does not have alcohol in it. So again, it's like, you know, even if you didn't understand, you know, ask the question or just grab the bottle, take a look at it, and before I made you look dumb. But yeah.
Oh my God, yes. And I think that's why también I was able to connect with your stuff, girl, because through your items that you sell, that you're creating, I feel seen. I feel seen, and I'm gonna get emotional, but I feel seen. Like, even when one of the first things that popped up was this sticker.
Yes.
And oh my God, you guys, I wanted to cry because I'm like, oh my God, I have scars. Like, she has scars, and I kind of have that body shape, and oh my God, like, I've never seen a sticker of it, like, resembling me. And this is why I'm so passionate about sharing brands with my audience and really connecting us, because I feel like necesitamos que estar apoyándonos.
Yes. So let me tell you a couple of the, so for instance, this one right here.
Yes.
This is, so if you go to my website, at the bottom, you see my parents' wedding picture and then my grandma's, right?
Yes.
Esta es Angela. This is like one of my grandmas. So, so it's not her, pero when I saw it, I was like, God, you remind me of somebody. Like, I feel connected, like, and then when I was looking at my mom's wedding album, I was like, oh my God, it's grandma right there. It's grandma, you know?
I got chills. I don't know if you guys can see or not. I got chills.
Yeah, so this is, and this is Angela, and then on you see your thank you card?
Yes.
Okay, that is my other grandma. So when I saw that, I was like,
one?
That's my, yes. I was like, my grandma is like that, con las matas out there watering, you know. I was like, this is so my grandma. So I have both sides. And again, they're both Puerto Rican. And I was like, look at the difference.
Yes. And that's the beauty. That's the beauty of the Latino community, girl. We come in all shapes, sizes, colors. Like,
yes, and I wanted to make sure I represented. So for instance, for this, this I was inspired because of my cousins. I was like this. Like, this is right here. This is us. Like, literally, this is us. And I was just like, I have to put it out there, because if I'm feeling this way, I'm pretty sure other Latinos are feeling the way. You know, it's like one of those things we did not know we needed until we had it, you know?
Yes.
And all this emotions and expressions is exactly lo que yo quería. I wanted my customers to feel when they got the packages. I wanted you to feel like I included you in all of this. I included your mom, your sister, your cousin, your tia, your abuelita, everybody.
I felt this was for Maribel. Like, this is Maribel. Nadie más. Like, Jessica did it for Maribel. This is it.
Yes.
And you know what? I wasn't sure I wanted to share this or not. Even when I was like recording a video of me opening up my stuff, I'm like, oh my God, like, what do I share? Because I kind of want them to be as pleasantly surprised as I was. As soon as I opened the packet, Jessica.
Yes.
Olía a café. I was transmitted immediately to my grandma's kitchen. You know, early in the mornings, her squeezing juice for my grandpa, orange juice, and el cafecito de olla going. And I was like, does this smell like coffee? I'm like, what is coffee? And I'm all smelling all over. And then I
thinking of everything.
Yes. And I was like, this is so thoughtful. Like, I like, Amazon cannot do this. Target cannot do this. Like, whatever brands you're looking at cannot do this. This is so personalized, and it just feels so warm to open it up. I'm in love with the colors, like I said before, that you're using. Even for like the little, I love these things.
You know the names of those?
I don't know the proper names, girl. I call them stickies.
Oh, no, that's okay. I named them. So, la primera que ves is la bossy. Because look, in every family, there's a flaquita, a gordita, and a bossy. So you got the flaquita, the gordita, and la bossy.
Oh my God. I love it. Yes. Okay, so I just call them stickies. Pero, oh my God, that is so much better. Las flaquitas, las gorditas, y las bossy. Yes. Girl, te digo. And then the keychain. Where is the keychain? Oh my God. I haven't even opened it because I'm scared to open it, girl. Because I'm like, I don't even know. I think I'm going to put it in my vanity. Because you know how it gets like all messed up in the keys? And I'm like...
Tiene plástico. So you can keep the plástico on.
Oh, okay.
So tiene plástico on both sides.
Oh, okay. Perfect. So it probably shines even better. But look, you guys, this is so pretty. And I don't know, I just feel like, to me, this speaks like women, like a woman growing, healing.
Yes. So that was because, again, I'm a mother, a wife, a daughter, sister, a business owner. I used to work for, corporate America and whatnot. And I felt like there's just women, period, but I think Latinas especially, there's something inside of us que no importa todo lo que se mete, or we just come out and be like, we come out flawless. Like we're like, we just come out like you would have never known everything we've been through.
Yes.
And the lotus, that's what the lotus signifies, is like, through the muddy waters, like there comes this beautiful flower. And I was like, Latinas, 100%.
That's us.
100%. 100%.
Yes. And
that's how that.
And that exactly what you just said is what my podcast is about. Knowing that everybody has a story,
yes,
and embracing where we come from.
Yes.
Embracing todo lo que tenemos, todo lo que cargamos. Markings to me is not only, the stretch marks that we carry and the scars that we carry on the outside, but on the inside, what makes us. Like you said, tanta cultura que tenemos. Oh, I love it, girl. So talk to me about starting Café Con Leche Plan Her. Which I love the name, by the way, too. I'm like, plan her? What?
I love it. Okay, so it really started, like I said, I'm a planner girl, so I have the stickies and todo eso. Y cada año, it's either I get a planner that starts in the middle of June or February. You know what I'm saying? I could never buy it, like, on time. So,
yes, I hate that.
Right? And I was just like, okay, so I remember I went to... Target, and I was like, well, Target in our area, they is in a community of muchos hispanos. So I was like, maybe they should have something for hispanos, right?
Yeah.
So I go down there and I was like, wait, you got to be kidding me! And I would grab different ones, and I was like, Target does not have anything in Spanish, not even Spanglish. What? And I remember yo agarré different libros, and I was like, man, somebody needs to come up with this one. So I would open it and be like, keep this page, get rid of this, don't do this, and I'm just putting it together. And I ended up not getting one because I was like, I'm not,
it's too much.
Yeah, it was just, it was nothing that I would be happy to carry around with, if I needed to like leave, like, I couldn't. I was like, I'm going to leave you at home because, you're going to stay at home.
Yeah.
Entonces, at that time, I was taking a course for credit repair because, I wanted to start a business for credit repair. So I was taking a course. Y la misma maestra de curso, I had gotten her planner and I loved it. It was like dateless. It was, just little things. And I was like, gosh, this is what we need. Like, we're special like this. Y luego dice, oh, I'm going to start a course. I was like, oh my God, this is it. I think this is it. Because I was thinking somebody needs to do it. Pero cuando dijo ella, I'm going to do a course to show you how to put this together. I was like, you know what? I'm going to take the course. That's going to be me. I'm going to do this. So I didn't tell nobody. Ni le dije a ella. I didn't tell nobody. So what I did is I did research. So I went to Google, Amazon, Etsy, and I would go, bilingual, Spanglish, like a whole bunch of stuff. And I was just like, gosh, like we are really limited on what we can get. And then at that time, también, I remember, before that, I was doing the research, and I was like, I need to come up with a name that connects all Latinas.
Yes.
Something that connects it. And I have a book, and I just started writing words. And I had talked to one of my friends, and I told her, and she's like, well, write all these phrases down. And anyways, I kept coming back to Café con Leche, Café con Leche. And then I was hearing a lot on social media about trademarking. Like before you invest, make sure you trademark. So I went onto the website, and Café con Leche obviously is already trademarked, right? There's a restaurant using it, the coffee, and just a couple of things. And then I remember I heard an attorney talking about the difference entre like Dove chocolate and Dove soap bar. Same name, but if I tell you, this chocolate, this Dove is amazing, you're not thinking I'm eating soap. Like, I'm eating chocolate.
Yes. Oh my God, I never even realized that. That's a really good point.
And then, like, if I say, oh, Maribel, me voy a bañar con este jabón de Dove, or no, con este Dove, it's jabón, I'm not going to take a shower con chocolate,
Yes.
So when they were telling me these different classifications, I was like, well, maybe I could do this, And so I was like, I need to consult an attorney, because before I even do this, I had to consult an attorney. So I did. And she's like, yeah, you can, because of the classification or the class that you're in, you can definitely do that. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, okay, well, let's go. So a couple of days when I did my first contact with her, I saved the URL. I did all my social media, Café con Leche Plan Her. Like, I saved everything, era gratis, right? I was like, okay, let me hurry up and lock this down.
Yes.
Again, no le dije a nadie. And then while the attorney was working on that, I started putting things together. So I have drafts and ideas, and, everything's coming to me. Nobody knows. And then finally, once she registered it with the trademark office, because I had to go up there, right? I was like, oh my gosh, I have to tell somebody. And I told my husband.
Your best friend.
Yeah. I was like, baby, I got to tell you something. And he looked at me like, what?
What did you do now?
Yeah. I have all these like crazy ideas. And he's like, what? And I was like, baby, I don't know why I'm so scared. I'm so nervous to tell you. And I don't know why, but, and I was like, this is what it is, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, okay. And I was like, that's it. He's like, yeah, okay. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I'm ready for this, And then, and so then I started posting little things here and there. I took the course. I made, understood, because what I also I wanted to understand paper, because I don't know if you ever noticed different kinds of papers, like the ink smears or goes through or is too thin. Yeah. And I didn't understand that there's a terminology for that. And also las plumas, so the course really helped me understand, this is what this means. This is what this means, So I was able to bring my products more personal, more like, okay, I want good quality. I don't want no 99-cent stuff. I want good quality. So the paper, the pen, everything you have, I research. I had my manufacturer send me samples, so I'm doing tests here and there, because I just if my name is behind it and it's for us, I want it to be where somebody's proud to use it,
Yes.
That's how everything was coming about. Also, with all the art, I'm not a good artist, but I could do a lot of drafts, right? Lo que quiero. And so I reached out. I wanted to represent women, Latinas, as artists in my products. But only a couple Latinas reached out to me. So then I was like, okay, let me just do women in general. So all the illustrations are made from, a woman's perspectives for us. So, and all the art and the artists, they're all different. So that's why you see different types of art, the way it's painted and whatnot. It's because it's all different, and I want them, I was like, to you, what is a woman, like the one with the stretch marks. I was like, oh my God, yes, I need that,
Yes.
So when I would reach out to them, I would tell them, don't change the way you draw.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm looking for,
And that's your secret, girl, because that's why I feel like it's so diverse, but at the same time, I feel it's so personalized. Oh my God, you're a genius.
Maribel, when I tell you that everything in my company, every product has a story on why I have those, I have a purpose. And, for instance, the highlighters, No,
Yes, the metallic. I saw the metallic ones. I need to order some of those.
yeah, girl, and the color. So, like you said, the color scheme. So the metallic, because I was like, I love glitter and I love shiny stuff. So I was like, okay, I got to do that. And then my pastel is because I remember in school when we had to like projects, the highlighters kept falling off the tables, and I was like, dude, like why do they keep falling? They roll off, and they were fat. And they were like bright. So my highlighters are square.
Yeah.
They don't roll.
Jessica, oh my God. Yeah, you know what? I actually have, oh my God, I'm all over my desk today. I'm so sorry, you guys, if you guys hear all the noise. That's why I have this stupid thing, because I can't just have my pens and my markers like all rolling around my desk.
Yep, now you can just leave them on your desk and they're not going to roll nowhere.
Oh, I'm going to get rid of all my highlighters. Oh my God, that is genius! Wow.
So that's why they're and because we're girls, and I was like, we need something cute, like I don't want to walk around. Where's my bulky? Oh, I don't know.
Matching your pink,
right?
What is this?
Oh no! Oh no!
Wow.
Yes, and then I have what else? I have my transparent stickies, right?
Oh yes. Okay. Yes.
Those, because when you get a new book, you're just like, oh, I really don't want to write on it, but I gotta.
You don't even want to. You don't even want to like. ¿Cómo se dice? Marcar la página.
Yes. Yeah. You don't want to. What is it? Ear dog or dog ear? La página. Yes, and I was just like, you know what? And then I would remember my kids when they were like, Mom, I got to buy books for school, for college. And they would tell me how much. And I was like, oh my God, like that's it's expensive. And then I was just like, what if you get the books and then you can return them because they will be brand new? I'm thinking about all of this. And then I was like, I came across something about transparent, like little ones. And I was like,
yeah, they just came out like not that long ago.
Yeah. And I was like, I need to make them where if you're studying, you can use it. And it does, it is what it is. It's transparent. You can write on it. You can highlight, I have one where it's like a to-do. I have it. So I have one that is a love note. Yes. Mommy used to always leave stickies, love notes for us.
Yes.
And then I left love notes for my kids on stickies everywhere. So that's why I have that.
Wow. So todo con su propósito.
Yes, everything has a purpose. Todo. My journals. So you know how you mentioned you take the little card y empiezas a escribir in your notebook?
Yes.
So another purpose of the cards, I was like, okay, bueno, they can take the cards and do like you did, write in a notebook. Or what if somebody is wanting to journal and write there, but they don't know how to? Well, when they grab a card, they can take that and start writing in their journal. You can take the card and pass them out to somebody who use it or who you see might need it. So I went to Target and I started passing them around because it's like, girl, they loved it. Like they're like, oh my gosh! Like I keep.
That's such a good idea, girl. Watch me in San Diego with all your cards. Oh my God! Yes. Especially because I love like sometimes like I'll even do where like I'll leave like a little envelope like in the diaper section, for the mommies or whatever with like $5 or $10 or something.
Yes, and then now you put a card in there and they'll grab it, and it's just like. I have one on mine. It says chula y unbothered. I was like, oh my God, that's totally.
Yes.
I remember that, And then this one I grabbed this morning says, I'm whole without anyone or anything else to complete me.
Oh, I love that.
And I'm just like, because we always, again, growing up. Okay, so for instance, yo era la gordita. So siempre, ay, Jessica, eres tan bonita, pero if you lose weight. And I'm like, why can't I just be cute? Why do I have to lose weight? Why can't I just be me? Why can't you just say, ay, Jessica, eres tan bonita, and leave it at that? Why you have to add, pero si, bajas de peso, si pierdes, and I'm just like, why?
No.
So one of those things, growing up, I always stuck with that, like, oh, I'm pretty, but I could lose weight. I could lose weight. Now I'm just like, nah, man. It is what it is.
It's funny that you say that. So I had breakfast with my college friend today. And we were just talking about that girl because she brought her kids along with her. They're 8 and 6, I believe. And she was, I asked them, I said, do you guys even know how I met your mom? And they're like, no. And I'm like, oh, we met, my first semester of college. And then she goes, yeah, but tell them the whole story. And I'm like, and then her little son goes, what's the whole story? And I was like, oh, I did not like your mommy. And he's like, why did you like my mommy? And I was like, because she was gorgeous. And I was always, my nickname in my family is Gorda. And so she turned around to me and she was like, wait, I thought you just thought I was stuck up. And I was like, girl, you were everything I was not. I was not the girl with like the nice little curves. I didn't have the perfect body. I didn't have the perfect butt. I had too much breast. Like, it was just, I always didn't feel good enough. And at that time, growing up, it was like, the Christina Aguilera, the Britney Spears era, donde están todas flaquitas y yeah. But it's like, no, we come in all shapes and sizes. But I didn't know how to embrace that.
Exactly. Yep.
And she was like with her mouth open. She couldn't believe me. And she goes, I cannot believe that you thought that. And I was like, no, girl, it gets even worse. I used to think people did not like me because I was ugly.
Aww.
And I was like, because growing up, I always heard what you just said. Oh, pero si adelgazas. Oh, pero es que si eres así. Don't be too loud. It's because, you draw attention to yourself.
Yeah.
It's like, it was never good enough just to be myself.
Exactly. And that's like we said about being loud. Now, girl, me and my sisters, my mom go out. Mira, every time we go out, somebody's like, oh, can you adopt us? And I'm like, yeah, because we have so much fun because we are loud, we are laughing, we're having a good time, And like you growing up, también is like, oh, don't be too loud. And I was just like, or talk with your hands, like, stop talking with your hands. Oh, what are you guys telling me to do? Like, I cannot not talk with my hands. You just like everywhere. I'm like, well, I'm going to be everywhere. It's just.
I'm sorry God gave me so much sass. I'm sorry.
Come on now.
Girl, yes. Yeah. Oh my God. Now I want to go to Vegas. I need to visit you and I need to visit Vegas.
Let's go. Come on.
Girl,
come on. Yes.
My God. I love it. And I hope that everyone that's listening, you guys, please, for the guys, because I do have a guy audience.
Oh, and I have not forgotten about the guys.
Tell them.
Mira, I know guys journal and they write stuff down. So I got something for you guys. It's going to be coming out in the next couple months. I'm
excited. I'm on the edge of my seat.
I'm so excited. And you know what? My best friend, when, I was telling her all this stuff and showing her and everything, she's like, well, what about him? What about the guys? I'm like, what about the guys? Like, this is not about them, This is about us right now.
Yeah.
Pero once I started showing my product out, I did have a lot of guys. They're like, well, what about us? And I was like, okay,
give me a second.
Yeah, I'll be back. I'm going to work on that. So with the guys, I have it's going to be también like a journal, a little thicker. And it's going to be very just masculine. And, guys are very easy también. So I'm not going to have too much, like, actually, it's not going to have no illustrations, it's just for a man. And it's, I can tell you it's black or brown or café negro or espresso.
I love it. And if you are a guy that does not journal, because there is some older gentlemen that do not journal, yes. I completely understand. But trust me when I say any girl would love to receive this. Any girl. So go hook up your girl. We all love stationery. If she doesn't like stationery, I don't know. That's a red flag.
Something wrong with her.
That's a red flag.
Right.
But get her some cute markers. The sticky notepads. No sé dónde los dejé ahorita. The sticky notepads. Go get her a journal. Oh my God. The positive cards.
Yeah, las tarjetas. Yeah, that tarjetas is
so thoughtful. I would cry if my husband would get me something like that. So yes, go and check it out. Go check out her website. I want to know, what can we expect? Like, or at least para ti, Jessica, what do you envision in the future? Where are you headed? Like, what's your biggest dream?
Like, my biggest dream, honestly, is if I can get to the point where I have a warehouse and I can employ, Latinos and Latinas, and I believe it's my 5-year, I want to be able to give back to the community. So I want to be able to take those who want to learn how to open a business, start a business. What do I do? Because toda la información está en inglés, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And girl, los Latinos, we have some of the, oh my God, the ideas and stuff that we come up with. I was like, oh my God, that's genius. But it stops them from going forward because no entienden, So I want to make that where, look, this is your idea. Let's go. This is what we're going to do. And I want to help them with that process as far as starting the business, and telling them or showing them where to go or what to do,
How to start your research, because nobody's going to hand you anything.
Correct.
Nothing's gonna fall from the sky. And I bet you 99% of the time things do not work out the way that you expect them to work out.
That is correct. That is correct.
If something that I've learned from meeting business owners is that you guys go through the ringer. Like, the final products, what we see, what we get is, everything, and we think, oh yeah, that's so easy. But I'm sure, finding the manufacturer for the boxes, designing your box, your stickers.
My color's okay,
yes.
Like it's a very, very detailed. Very detailed, but I enjoyed the whole process. Mm-hmm. I really have, because to me, I felt like nadie me lo puede quitar.
Yeah, no.
What I've been through, this is my baby. This is, what you guys touched. Like, I have drafts of everything. Like, this is my sweat. Like, it's me racing and doing this. And, this is the ideas that I have. And, my other collections that I'm working on that I have, So when I started, I actually had to limit, like, okay, Jess, what are you going to bring out? Like, what is it? Yeah, focus. Because, I still have all, like, girl.
Yes. Yeah.
I have so much, but I was like, okay, I need to start somewhere. Y déjame con esto, because, this is what I feel like would relate more and most. And, get it out there, get your name out there, let everybody know about your brand. Like, I would love to be international. I think that would be amazing. And that's something that, como Latinos, that's something that we have that Americans do not. Mm-hmm. Last year during Hispanic Heritage Month,
yes,
a planner company was promoting, of course, and I went to the website, and I don't ever post anything negative on social media, but in this case, I actually posted that they're just in for the money. Yeah. Like, what? It took you no time. I said, the owner didn't even probably design this, You're just like, hey, show me something, so we can do heritage, Hispanic Heritage Month. And I was so sad that I see people buying this, and I was like, you guys have no idea.
And you know why people buy it? Because they feel like that's the only option that they have. when it's not the only option that we have. We have amazing people like Jessica.
Yes.
And, you know, I hope that we can convey with this episode the love, the care, lo personalidad que lo pone, o sea, la personalización de cada cosa, everything's with an intention, right?
Yes.
Nothing is just magically happening.
Exactly.
And so when I look now at brands, girl, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but I dig. Like, I'm like, who owns this? I want to know who owns this, because just because it says cultura doesn't mean like who owns it. And if it gives me like a foreign name, I'm like,
So growing up, I used to get relaxers done because I did not understand how to take care of my curly hair, right? Come to find out, all of these relaxer companies are owned by white men. And I was just like, oh my God. I almost feel like not molested, but like, wow, you did this to me.
Taking advantage.
Yes, like you made it seem like my hair was no good, that you created this thinking it was for us, something, you know, good. But
it's not.
It wasn't.
Yes.
It wasn't. Like, how dare you, you know? And so I just, so I'm with you. I dig in companies, and honestly, like again, thankful for social media, because now we get to see who owns these companies, like really, really who's behind it.
Yeah.
And that's where my money is going, you know? That's where my money is going.
That I'd rather spend, you know, money here than going to Target and spending it there. Because Target is amazing, you know, for groceries, for drinks, whatever. Pero no para todo, you know, like even some of my skincare products, I go with Latina-owned businesses. And if I even get an inch of you being kind of funny, because I have run into people that are Latinos and for the Latino people, but as soon as I reach out to them to make that connection and to really hear their story, because, you know, they're talking about it on social media, I'm like, I want to know more about your story. And they're like, not right now. Or, you know, they kind of dismiss me. I'm like, but you say the same thing in your video, but you never explain. So who are you really?
Right.
So I stopped buying. I stopped buying one product that kept saying, you know, we're Latinos, we're immigrants, and we do this. Because as soon as I reached out to them, girl, it was like, and then I reached out to them through social media, and they were like, oh, we're just waiting for the perfect moment to book you. And I'm like, but you couldn't even like email me back and say, hey, let us think about the date. But you're out there trying to give us this narrative that you guys are immigrants and you guys are making it, you know, but I don't know. There was just something fishy. And I was honestly, I was a customer, and I'm not going to say that, I'm not going to expose anybody like that. But, you know, it makes me double think. And so now when I'm meeting people, I'm like, no, I need to investigate more. Where is my money going to? I need to know. And being because of what you said, you know, being transparent, and as far as like who is behind the company, a lot of when I'm on social media, like the videos that you see, like I don't edit, I don't use filters, and my videos, I do like 3 takes. After that, I'm like, porque sale, sale. It is what it is. This is me. You take me, like, this is what you're going to get, you know? Yes.
Like, I'm not one, I don't spend hours on makeup. Like, I don't do any of that. And I'm not going to, because that's what everybody's doing, you know?
Yes.
And I want to make sure that I stay true to that. You know, like I talk to you, is like I talk to my mommy, this is, you know? Yes. Like, this is me. You see me on social media, that's how I talk, you know? Sometimes the words come out like this, pero silent, you know? That's me. And I wanted it to go through the product as, you know, So
that
you
essence.
part of me.
Yes, so it's that essence. And yeah, I can honestly say I 100% stand behind Café Con Leche Plan Her. Girl, I love everything that you do. I wish you so much success.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for coming on and sharing your story. When you have new
Thank
product,
you for the invite.
yes, this is your platform. Whenever you want to come back, once you're launching like new stuff, please come back and let us know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God. Yes. So excited.
Yes. So everyone, again, Jessica's information is going to be on the screen if you're watching on Spotify or YouTube. If not, then you'll be able to find it on the description box. And if you guys are watching little clips on social media, I'll be able to tag her. And so you guys can go and follow her and support a true Latina business-owned company. And if you guys are as obsessed as I am with stationery, this is your sweet spot. Hold on to your check. Hold on to your check. Pero no, muchísimas gracias, Jessica. And we will see you next time.
Yes. Thank you so much.
I want to hear your story, or I want to support your small business. To do so, please go ahead and visit embracingmymarkings.com. Thank you for tuning in.